this one, of course, the title was included in this one. Say the impact of sleep. I think why I put this, if you probably will note the trend, is the first two are speaking to reservoir engineering, petroleum engineering, evaluation or efforts, so, geosciences efforts. But this one, I decided to get an example that is completely. You don't have to be a scientist to appreciate this one. Just be a human being that understands what sleep can do to you if you don't sleep properly, and how that can affect not just academic performance, but your behavior generally. People get very cranky if they've not had enough sleep, and sometimes headaches and everything. So that's why I chose this one as an example. So you see here, this study, first of all, the topic is important. The impact of sleep on the academic performance among college students. That is something that everybody is interested in learning. What is that impact? What is the message here? And then he or she goes by saying, or the team goes by saying, this study investigates the relationship between sleep quality and academic performance amongst college students. That is introduction objective for you. Some abstracts will start by saying, or rather, some writers will start by saying, sleep deprivation has been highlighted as a key contributor to poor performance among students in colleges. That is problem statements if I choose to start that way. Okay, so writer A will say sleep deprivation or low sleep quality or insufficient sleep amount has been highlighted or pointed or has been noted to be the main cause of poor performance or bad behavior or anger or causes anger in students. That is an introduction, or that is a problem statement. So now your work will now be, I want to investigate how true that is. I want to investigate how much of sleep quality or how much of sleep deprivation actually, what is that threshold? What threshold of sleep do I need to have before I'm good or not good? So that is the objective of your work after the background statement. And then this one, for example, goes, a survey was conducted with, there's quantitative parameter here, 500 undergrad students, and then there's a location, because you can say 500 students in Lagos. It will not be the same as 500 students in some other place in Uganda or in the US, in Texas or in my village, where it's a village, of course. In Lagos, with all the hustle and bustle and traffic and everything, compared with my village where there's no traffic, people wake up late and everything. So at the end of the day, the sleep patterns in a Lagos environment and in some other clime will be different, which is why in this case, the person wrote the number of undergrads and then the location of the school, because it matters. If a school is in a town or a city or a village, they are not going to be the same probably. Okay. And then here it says assessing their sleep patterns, quality, and GPA. These are parameters. These are like measurable sleep patterns. There are devices that can measure your sleep pattern. Sleep quality, of course, devices can help you with that. GPA is actually very quantitative. It's not something you can. It's a value. It's measurable, or it's estimated. Now the person goes ahead to say the result indicate a positive correlation between. Positive correlation means if this is good, the other will be good. If this is bad, the other will be bad, basically. And that word positive correlation is already telling you a relationship that has been highlighted, affirming that this relationship, this is how it is, okay, between this and this. And then he goes further to tell you more. Students reported less than 6 hours of sleep. Now, why this is important is you can use these results or this understanding to guide people who are in an environment similar to that of Omai University. You can say, well, if you're in a school that is similar to Omai University, this is what you need to do. This is the number of hours you need for you to have this kind of outputs. Okay. And then the team goes ahead to make suggestions and then recommend further research. This is an example of another good one. Now, if you go to the equivalent of it that is classified as poor, it just tells you something. It says, well, this paper talks about, look at it. The title says study about sleep and grades. So when you're writing an abstract, your title and then even the content, is it appealing? Is it detailed? Is it professional? Does it suit some of these items? Does it contain some of these elements that we need to see in an abstract? Here it says, this paper talks about sleep and how it might affect grades. We did a survey with some students, and then there's full stop. Well, interesting. He just said, the person just said, we did a survey with some students and stop. We found some interesting things about sleep. See, some interesting things about sleep and grades, but the details are in the paper. I'm sure this person just wants to be very comedic, or I don't know. He said the details are in the paper. So if you're the reviewer, don't ask me. Just read the full paper, you find it. But all I know is that sleep is important for students, and we should think about how to help them sleep better. Now, this is very interesting, and I don't know. It couldn't be funnier, to be honest. Okay. So now this is an example of a weak abstract. Okay. The person should be a comedian, probably, and not be writing for a presentation.